times. And as you know, we have with us today the headliner of the festival. Normally you wait until the end, but you're in for a lucky time this evening because Tsitsi Dangarembga is here with us. Just to say that for those who are online and in all the different spaces, you can watch us on live stream on all of the Ake Festival platforms. I'll just introduce. She doesn't need any introduction, but we'll do it anyway. This is one of the greatest writers that this continent has produced, and I'm hoping that after you've had the pleasure of her company and her words and ideas this evening, that you will all seek out her works if you have not already read them, and introduce her works to all that you come across. The biography, literary biography, short biography of Tsitsi Dangarembga. Tsitsi Dangarembga is a poet, activist, novelist, playwright, playwright. Her debut novel, Nervous Condition, Africa's 100 Best Books of the Last Century, and also BBC's list of 100 stories that changed the world. The book won the Commonwealth Writers' Prize for Africa in 1989. It was published in 1988. It has been followed by 2 sequels, one of which we'll be examining more closely this evening. 2 sequels, The Book of Not, which was published in 2006, and the latest, This Mournable Body, published last year. And she'll be reading a bit from it for us this evening. Tsitsi Dangarembga is also a filmmaker and is renowned for writing the script for Nerea, a film about the plight of widows in her native Zimbabwe. She is the founder and director of the Institute of Creative Arts for Progress in Africa. She's also among the most significant figures changing the film landscape in Africa, having founded the International Images Film Festival for Women in 2002 in Harare. But tonight, she's in Lagos with us. Welcome, Tsitsi Dangarembga. What's it like?
It's working. What's it like to be here with you all in Lagos? It is absolutely fantastic, really. Words fail me, and I'm looking here at the most amazing woman, Lola, and I'm thinking, how does she do this? How does she create such a vibrant space where people feel so at home, where the creative juices flow, where people feel so safe, where, dare I say this, yes, I think I will, where African men and women creatives actually get on. So this is really nothing short of a miracle, and I am so grateful. I am so grateful, not just the African men and women getting on, but the whole thing. You know, I am so grateful. I feel completely blessed and completely honored to have been asked to be part of this amazing festival.
Thank you so much. You've talked about Lola making this kind of vibrant space, but it's also the kind of space that you have tried to create elsewhere. 2002, a film festival for women in Harare. Why was that necessary, and what has that journey been like?
Really, I think one of the reasons why I created the International Images Film Festival for Women, IIFF, which we call IF, was that I didn't want to tread on anyone's toe, do something in film as well. So the open niche was for women. And of course, that really resonates with the work that I do all the time, because women's narrative has really been something that I've been pushing. And can you imagine, if you cannot hear the voice of a woman when the woman herself is not present because it's in a novel, what about the voice of a woman when it's actually a picture on a big screen, you know, like 10 feet tall in front of you? There's going to be even more resistance to those kinds of stories. So it looked like a good space for me to occupy.
And an extension of what you already were trying to do in your fiction, obviously, because by that time, you, of course, nervous conditions had become, you know, a classic, really.
Yes, absolutely. It was something that I had wanted to do with my fiction. And what happened with Nervous Conditions is that when I finished writing it, which was around 1984, 1985, I couldn't find a publisher in Zimbabwe. And so it wasn't published for about 4 years afterwards. And I had actually decided to go to film school. I started writing. Of course, we had wonderful Ama Ataidu and people beforehand, but this whole new harvest of young women writing so fearlessly and really delving into the issues that they felt were so important to them suddenly happened while I was at film school. However, when I looked at the screen, I didn't see that kind of flourishing of African women's narratives as well. So it was quite easy for me to think, okay, I will engage in that area as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to ask too many questions because I think we have a lot of your fans here this evening, and the idea is that they should be able to engage with you as much as possible. So the questions will be few and far between on this end. But I'm sure that people are dying to hear you read from this mournable body. So if perhaps you would like to. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity, Mola. All right, so since our theme really does engage with that very issue, this mournable body is the third and last book in the Tambudzai trilogy. And it's basically the story of a young woman who grows up in rural Rhodesia at the time, and her life story into becoming an adult woman in contemporary Zimbabwe. So she's lost her job, she's gone through all sorts of terrible things, and she has been, she had a nervous breakdown, she was in a hospital, and her mother did not come to visit her while she was in the hospital. So mothers and daughters is another of the themes that I'm very engaged with at the moment. What the mother does is she sends up this sack of mealie meal with a relative. And Tambudzai decides she is not going to cook and eat this mealie meal. But when she comes out of hospital, she doesn't have anywhere to live, so she goes from place to place, and this mealie meal keeps following her. One of the places she goes to is her cousin Nyasha's house. Then she gets another job and leaves for her own house. So now she's in her own house in this new job, which isn't working out very well. She had left the mealie meal in her cousin Nyasha's house, and her cousin thinks she forgot it, so she brings it. So now the bag of mealie meal is sitting in her kitchen. Silently, you curse yourself for not having hidden the bag well enough. And when you have done with yourself, you swear at your cousin. You refuse the dinner that Ma Tabitha, the help, offers, and pace from living room to bedroom, unable to settle. When she finally leaves, you stand by the kitchen table